everybody! We're here today at the Luxury Finance Group with Noelle Norvell. How are you, Noelle?
I am well, thank you.
Well, today we're going to be talking about a very interesting subject, which is yacht financing. And Noelle here is going to answer some questions for us.
I will.
So first, Noelle, would you mind telling us a little bit about yourself and your background in financing?
Sure. So I got into financing through banking back in 1993, and my first loan was a luxury yacht loan. And from there, I spent about a decade in the banking industry and then was recruited to go into marine finance for about the next 15 years before coming here to Luxury Financial Group, where I am the president, and our main office is here on Las Olas in Fort Lauderdale.
Yes, it's a very, very beautiful office, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so let's go into our questions. First question, how is the process of financing a yacht different than financing a home?
Great question. So a yacht is a luxury item, and it is a want versus a need. A home, as you know, is a need similar to a car. So our financing requirements are stringent. We do require verification of income and verification of liquid assets. So very similar to a mortgage, not similar to a car, because you can sign on the dotted line and be out the door. So we do let you know up front what is required, and the verification process is very simple once the approval is obtained, and we do that by bank statements and also tax returns and W-2s, which of course we keep very confidential.
Okay, great. Now, are there restrictions as to which kinds of yachts can be financed? For example, the model year, the use, or the location of the yacht?
Yes, there are. So most banks in this day and age want to finance vessels that are 15 years or newer. We can do up to 30 years age of the vessel based on the survey. And the survey is really important in that type of a scenario to make sure that the boat is in proper running order, there's no safety issues, and there's no mechanical issues. We also can do loans for charter and limited charter, which we do verify through the application process. So that is a requirement that we can finance as well.
Okay, awesome.
Yes.
And what about location? Are there certain locations where the yacht is restricted from financing? For example, if someone buys a yacht but they're gonna keep it in Bahamas, is that okay?
So it is okay to do that and keep it in the Bahamas. What we cannot do is what's called live aboard financing. The lenders do not want clients to live aboard the vessel. That creates more risk for them because they don't know where the vessel is going to be, and also creates more wear and tear on the vessel. Most of the yachts we finance are located here in the U.S., but can travel to the Med, can travel to the Bahamas, can travel to the BVIs. We can also do financing for yachts that are purchased overseas and either stay overseas and or come to the U.S. But we are very informative with our lenders where the boat is, where it's going to be moored, and the address of the mooring.
Okay, okay, great. Yeah. Now, should buyers apply for financing before making an offer on a yacht? Or in which stage of the buying process should this occur?
Ideally, for you, the borrower, it would be best if you applied in advance. This way, you know how much you can borrow. You also have the leverage when you're making your offer that you have the financing backing behind you. So those are two good things. The third thing is that what we're noticing in this environment is that the contract period is very short. And if the contract period is short, it doesn't give us a lot of time to get your financing in order. And what we mean by short is we've seen as short as 2 weeks. So not that the financing takes a long time, but you also have to do the survey, any repairs, and things like that. So ideally, we'd like to get you approved in advance, But certainly, once you make the offer, we would like to get called on that same day. And certainly, I can run numbers for you in advance over the phone and let you know, if your debt to income falls in line, or if, there's some questions there that we would definitely want to get them approved prior to the offer.
Of course, because someone might be committing to buy a yacht and signing an offer for a certain amount and then realize they don't have the financing for it.
That is correct, and we wouldn't want anybody to lose their deposit, which would be required upon the offer.
Yeah.
We're very client focused and want to make sure that their money is not at risk unnecessarily.
Great. Okay, next question. How is yacht insurance related to yacht financing?
So yacht insurance is required on yacht financing. There are two aspects of yacht insurance. You have the hull value, and then you also have the protection and indemnity portion, which is the liability portion. So that is, one protects the vessel and one protects the liability portion, which is something we were to run into you, for example. You also have what's called hurricane coverage. So we need to make sure here in South Florida that you do have hurricane coverage as well. We here at Luxury Financial Group do have our insurance license, so we can be a one-stop shop, if you will, and advise on insurance here as to the coverage that you're looking at with your current insurer.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Very good. Okay, and what are the requirements for foreigners to obtain yacht financing in USA?
Great question. So in the U.S., foreign nationals have a hard time getting yacht financing, and that is primarily because in their own countries they're very wealthy, but in the United States they don't have U.S. income and they don't have U.S. credit. We do have lenders that with a larger down payment and very little verification, they can get financing, but the interest rate is higher, and like I said, the down payment is up to 50%. Now, while that seems a lot, the interest rate in their own country is probably higher, and the tax consequence to bring over the money into the U.S. can be more expensive than the rate we are charging. Here at Luxury Financial Group, we're also working on a program for foreign residents where we can do a loan for them if they meet certain qualifications. And we can get into that more on our next podcast, because hopefully that will be in place by the middle of 2019. And that's a product we can actively market to foreign nationals.
That's great.
Yes, it's something that we're working on.
And what you were talking about with private lenders, what do they require anyways? Do they require for people to have credit history, to have a property here, to have a social security number? What are like the minimum requirements that someone would need to get financing?
Right. So for foreign national, ideally they would have 5 years in the credit bureau. They would have a social security number. You would have a permanent resident alien card, and they would have a home here in the U.S. or in South Florida if that's where you were keeping the boat. If none of those things apply, we would have to look at, private lending at that juncture, which would necessitate the higher interest rate and the larger down payment.
Oh, but with the private lending, it is possible to get financing without the property here and without the residency, the social security. Oh,
that is correct. Yes, and that's something where, we invest the time with the borrower to talk about what they're looking at and can make the determination quickly over the phone if they're able to qualify based on the boat that they are buying. And that's where if they don't have the credit and they don't have the U.S. income, we would request more of a down payment.
Okay. Okay, sounds good. And approximately how much of a down payment? I guess it depends on the case, right? But
if there's no U.S. verification, the minimum down payment would be 50%.
Okay.
It would be.
Okay. And if there is verification, what is the standard?
30%.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So
sort of like in a house?
Sort of like in a house, depending on the value of the boat, because 30% down still gives you 70% loan to value on an asset that can move.
Yes.
and is something that is a want versus a need. So that's still a very good loan to value.
Yes. Yes,
Mhm.
I think so.
Absolutely.
Okay, now how do yacht financing companies protect the confidentiality of their clients?
So, as a recently elected board member of the National Marine Lenders Association, this is a very hot topic. And what we do is we have our clients send us documents password protected. We also have them send it share file. And then lastly, we also have them send it via Dropbox. And at that point in time, if we get the documents here, we upload them to the cloud under their particular uh, client name, if you will, and then once we're done with the file, we permanently, store it password protected, so there's no issues there. And the other thing that not only do we do that, but when we upload documents to banks, they have portals that we have to log into and then upload the documents that way. So everybody is caught on to cybersecurity, wire transfers. We do 2 times verification. So we'll send in the wire transfer and then we'll call to verify the wire instructions as well. So very important cybersecurity right now.
Yes.
And making sure that when we do receive documents, we send an email back, documents received, thank you. And it's all about communication. You just cannot continue to work off of email alone. We are big on picking up the phone and talking to our clients, talking to their CPAs, talking to the chief financial operators of their company, and making sure we know that they're sending the documents, it's from them, and that yes, we are receiving them and we're categorizing them appropriately in our security storage online.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow, that's
very important.
But it's important.
It is. And it's one of the things that we mention to our clients in the initial consultation.
Yes.
Great.
Absolutely. For peace of mind.
Yes.
Okay, now, how do the interest rates in yacht financing compare to the interest rates in mortgages?
They can be comparable. So right now, they're about 1/4 to 0.5% more than regular mortgage rates, which is great because, again, it's a want and it's something that can float away, and your home is affixed to land and is something that is permanent. So our rates that we offer are fixed, can be variable, but not in this rising interest rate environment. You wouldn't want that. And also as long as 20 years fixed rate financing, which is very attractive to borrowers. Most of our loans have no prepayment penalty or maximum of a year. And as far as comparable, mortgages can go another 10 years up to 30 years. So having up to 20 years on a boat is extremely attractive.
Yes. Very good. And talking about the rising interest rates, would you recommend people now to buy a yacht cash or to finance? What do you think is going to give them a better result?
Right. Well, being in luxury finance, we definitely want them to finance. However, what we have seen before interest rates rising is our entrepreneurial buyers do go ahead and finance. And here's the reason why. They want to use the leverage from the lenders. They also want to keep their cash in case they have a buying opportunity within the company that they own, an investment property that they want to buy in a moment's notice. They don't have to worry about the cash. And then in a rising interest rate environment, you have the availability to finance, lock in the rate at a low rate now, because as rates continue to rise, the borrowing just becomes more and more expensive. So that's what we're seeing. Our clients who actually have paid cash for their boats in the past are financing now and locking in that rate. And with things going on in the government today, it's good to have money on the side where you can pay it off, 2 years from now when things are a little bit different, just keeping your cash on the sidelines, because the monthly payment is not that expensive, and it's less of a cash outlay than paying for everything up front.
Yes, I agree.
Yes.
Now, last question I have for you, Noelle. Could you please tell us a story, something interesting that has happened with your clients, with within your years of experience that you would like to share?
I can, and I've carried this through my business since I have started back in the early 90s. And it's one of the things, it's listening and making sure that the client's needs are met. While we have lots of programs that are out there and lots of banks that want to lend our clients money, your profile is different from my profile. So I may go to a different bank than you would go to a different bank, but both banks want to lend us money. So we had a gentleman give us a call. He was a hockey player, and a professional hockey player to say the least, and he was foreign, and he could not get anybody to help him because the minute he said foreign, nobody would speak to him. So I asked a few more questions over the phone, and once we got into it, after listening to his story and seeing exactly what he needed, we were able to talk through it. And we do have to ask that you're open and willing to give us the information, again, confidentially. That's how we handle it. And once we were able to attain the information from him, we were able to get him his boat that he wanted, good rate, good loan to value, and he was able to go boating with his wife, his 2 kids at the time, and then they had twins on the way.
Wow.
So it was very exciting to see them take delivery of the boat, and he's very happy, still has the boat to this day. And it just took the time to listen to what it was. You know, it's different than what it sounds like on the phone. If you just give people an opportunity to tell you their story, then we can make it happen for them.
Yeah.
That's really the difference between us, and it's from years of experience. And fortunately, you know, I've had some good mentors along the way that have shared with me early on in life when I was at the bank. It's not, you don't need to know the answer, Noelle, but we do expect you to find the answer. So if I don't know something, I'll be very transparent with our clients and let them know that I don't know the answer to the question, but it is my obligation to find it for them if it's good and or bad news. But let them know what the answer is, what the alternatives are, and what we can and can't do for them. The good news is that we've made many relationships, not only here, but Atlanta, New York, to get lenders to finance for our clients. And that is the opportunity that we provide in the marine lending space.
Wow, that sounds amazing.
Yes.
And I guess that's also the advantage of having a boutique financing firm versus going to the big lenders, right? You have more flexibility, more space to you know, explore different possibilities, right? To help your clients in different ways.
Definitely. So we use the resources that are out there. I was at dinner last night with a private equity gentleman who wants to lend money, and it's unconventional money, whereas a big bank says, okay, you fit in this box right here, and if you don't fit in that box, we can't help you. And our concern is, you know, the client and the end goal of what they want. So we're very protective of people's credit. When we talk about pulling credit, we don't want to pull credit half a dozen times. We want to pull it maybe a couple, 3 times, and then present you the offers of the marine financing that we have available. And if clients go to big bank A and big bank B, you're pulling credit here, you're pulling credit here, and that's not ideal.
Yeah.
So yes, as from we look for alternative financing options every day, and we look for banks locally to partner with us, which we just did a big deal with one of the local banks that one of the marine lenders couldn't do because it just had so many nuances to it. It was just so outside the marine box. And then we approached the local lender and they did it for us. And then like the foreign national program that we're working on, we can do them, but this one program that we're working on, once we get it, it will be just a great opportunity for our friends abroad.
Wow, I can't wait for that to be ready.
Yes,
so
yeah, I'll definitely call you and we can talk about it.
Yes, it's very interesting.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you so much, Noelle.
Thank you, Mary.
So if any of you have questions for Noelle, you can reach her at noelle@lfg.money.
Yes. .money.
That's it.
Yes, that is. And our phone number here at the office is 954-332-9864. And my email is Noelle, Noelle, at lfg.money.
Yes, and for those of you listening to our podcast, all the information will be on the episode notes. Okay?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I
My pleasure
appreciate
to
it.
be here.
Yes, thank you.